And we're live.
We are
What's
live.
up, guys? Uh,
It's
Chris
been
at Wake Up Gaming.
Mitchell, Blueberry Lover, and also on Maho Shonen.
Victor. You can just massive banana on Moxfield, and also on Maho Shonen.
It's been a
So
while.
it's been a very long time. I wanted to sing, but I don't know how you guys feel about singing. I was gonna be like, it's been so long, long that I haven't seen your face.
Look, we've been on a hiatus. We had a lot of pack opening content, and now we're out of content.
Yeah, but then, but today though, like we're going to talk about not necessarily all the battles, but there's one particular battle that I thought was pretty fun. It's Veggies Zendikar. Had you guys actually played with the card at all?
Yeah,
Because I heard,
no, I
I
haven't.
I
am
heard,
an aggro player.
well, it's like I heard that it's been popping off in standard, right? And
Yeah,
you've been playing on arena a little bit.
yes. It it
So is
fetches a tally and a Traxo really fast in standard right now.
I mean,
so what you're telling me is that Explosive Veggies is good.
Yeah, kind of going from 4 mana to 6 mana. Kind of crazy.
And then playing your seventh land drop from hand, and then boom.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Someone's getting.
someone's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want to demonetize anything.
We're on Rumble right now, so
Oh,
we're good.
You're right, but anyway, whatever.
You should just put the baka sound effect.
You're right. I gotta deep down for that one.
No, but like yeah, like so you know what's really funny is that like I haven't played standard at all, but when I was playing a little bit of Commander, you know what I realized about like Explosive Veggies is that like I feel like people, they're too obsessed about being fast, and it's like for at least for Commander, anyways. I feel like Explosive Vegetation is still a good card. It's just depend.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on like the meta game that you're playing. So like if you can afford to go a little slow, jumping from 4 to 6 mana is a pretty big deal. Especially,
It's 4 to 7 next turn, really. If you think
oh
about
yeah,
it.
if you do have the extra land drop, absolutely. But that's the thing though, is that like it's Explosive Vegetation does not see as much play as it used to, because I guess like you don't need to because the curve is like dropping down
Yeah,
significantly. But like,
Commander has been pacing up a lot more.
but I don't know, man. It's like lately they've been printing a lot of really fun 6 and 7 mana cards, and I kind of like miss playing those things. And Loki, I kind of want to try it. And the reason why was because I was playing a Rocket Dragon deck, right? And a lot of people were like, "Oh, your deck is really weak to board wipes," which is true because you play a lot of mana dorks and you kind of get blown up.
Yeah.
And I'm starved for mana. And I was like, is it really worth it to play like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach in the deck? And then someone, actually, it was a suggestion from our friend Jan, was like, why don't you play Invasion of Zendikar? And I was like, is there any particular reason why? Because in my mind, I was like, I don't have any flicker effects. So, to take advantage of it being a permanent. But on the backside, it's a creature that has a mana ability. It's a 6/6 with Vigilance and Haste and Raga Draga. And now I'm here thinking like, oh man, this is really good. Explosive, and then I just in my mind I was thinking like, any explosive vegetation with upside should be considered playing again. If you're playing like a very stompy like late game style deck, like, you want to play a lot of haymakers. And so I guess today like we're just talking about like, is explosive vegetation still worth playing? And if it is, has it been power crept? Because there are so many variants of explosive vegetation.
Bro.
Just I was playing today at the locals, Brute Force Games in San Diego, and yeah, no one was really ramping. And what I've noticed is because of that, we had a lot of like very stalled board states. Because normally when decks play ramp, they also play like huge explosive swingy spells, and that wasn't happening, and so the game was relatively stagnant with like one or two players really like grinding it out, while anyone who needed the like speed didn't have it.
Chris playing Commander.
Yeah,
Not Cube. Not Cube. What?
That's tomorrow.
Okay, but no, but so that's what I'm saying though. Is like it kind of makes sense. You have to kind of warrant needing the ramp, but at the same time, it's like it makes me feel like I feel that you have to have your veggies in your deck. You see what I'm saying there? It's like you need to have like land-based ramp because if you're too focused on having artifact ramp or mana dork, like just one
Vandal Blast,
a Vandal Blast or a Day of Judgment, even Cyclops,
even Shatter.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Or a Bane of Progress, or any cheap board like Blasphemous Act. Like it's going to set you back to the Stone Age, and so I feel like you can't forget your vegetables. And so I'm now really thinking about like, man, I kind of like want to play Explosive Vegetation in some of my decks because I noticed that my curve is lower than what it used to be, but it's still a little bit higher than other people because I do like to play 5-drops and 6-drops in my deck. So I'm definitely considering like putting some of these Explosive Vegetation and Explosive Vegetation variants into like my list, so long as it fits and I can like make it work. So now I guess like which of these variants are we going to talk about next?
we should also establish like the criteria of what we're basing this off of. So it's like Explosive Vegetation is 4 mana that searches for 2 basic lands, and that's going to be the only thing that we're going to be talking about.
And that's
sorcery speed. Yes,
that is the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
So like
any variation that is better is strictly better.
Yeah.
And just how much has it really changed or been pushed out with more modern design?
And like based upon our criteria, we have 7 cards. 7 cards. Should we go in order of release, or should we just go like just go down the line?
Order of release.
Order of release could be a fun way to look at it because it's like how Magic has grown. I was going to make another vegetable joke where it's like, oh, Explosive Vegetation has been GMO'd 7 times.
GMO'd?
GMO'd.
The FDA didn't approve it.
Yes, it has been modified to be grown easier in our crops and for easier digestion and consumability.
Woke Magic player. That's to you. That's to you in the chat.
But yeah, no, like. So yeah, what's the first one up on the chopping block? The vegetable chopping block.
Before that, I think we should look up when did Explosive Vegetation come out? What year? What set?
I believe it's Onslaught, and that was 2003.
Yeah, it was Onslaught.
All right, so
how do I remember?
It has been 20 years. It
Wow.
has been 20 years since this card came out.
20 years. Here, I'll even load up the old school art. The original.
Oh man, I remember playing. Oh man, I am ancient. I remember playing like a red-green beast stompy deck with Explosive Vegetation, and I was like, it's always fun to cast because it's like next turn I can play like this really big 6 or 7 drop.
And that was a big deal. That's a big deal back then.
Kind of. It's like I feel like I still got wrecked by goblins because during the Scourge Legion Onslaught block, like tribal decks were like oof.
You're right. I remember getting wrecked by goblins a lot.
Well, that's besides the point. But yeah, so it came out 2003, and I feel like for its time, it was pretty good. But that's the thing, though. It's like maybe not for standard because faster decks will get underneath you. But for Commander, though, I feel like people definitely were loving it because Commander was all battle cruiser, wanting to play your big fatties and like haymaker spells that you wouldn't see in standard or any other format.
Okay, yeah. for an ability, it's pretty basic, and this is what we're basing off of. So, yeah,
Well, it's basically it's a double rampant growth. That's why rampant growth times 2 becomes explosive vegetation. It even makes sense. Rampant growth. It's like, oh yes, it's all about it's about plants. Explosive vegetation. All right, I'll stop with the plant jokes now.
No, you're fine. You need to keep making me cringe.
Yeah, but
at least we're not vegetables.
oh gosh, but what's actually kind of funny is that Skyshroud Claim I guess actually came out before it, if you think about it, because it was in Nemesis, and I think Nemesis was actually before Onslaught, wasn't it?
You're actually right.
Yeah.
I think Skyshroud Claim was the first iteration, I guess, but only for forests.
But that's the thing, though, is that it was only for forest cards, and I don't know if maybe it's just my thought process, but I felt like I saw Explosive Vegetation played a lot more than Skyshroud Claim, and I'm not sure if it's maybe because of the price tag, or if it's because people wanted to play multicolored cards and not necessarily only mono green, not having the dual lands.
Yeah, because back then it was only the dual lands. We didn't have shock lands. We didn't have the Tango lands. We didn't have the snow lands.
Sorry, they had shock a couple years later.
Shocklands was 2005 or was it 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason why we saw Explosive Vegetation more is just because I'm a newer player compared to these two. I started in 2013, 2012, no, 2013, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Commander was taking off, a lot of people were building these tricolor decks.
Well, yeah, because the dragons are tricolor.
Well, not only that, but even Shards of Alara was arguably a set that was kind of like a hidden nod to Commander, and the shards are all tricolor as well.
Yeah, and just for the sake of budget, Explosive Vegetation would grab you 2 lands of any colors, which was great for when you need to hit your colors.
Oh yeah. So, would you say that so Skyshroud Claim, now that there's way more affordable dual lands, they even have the common cycle from Dominaria, United, and then also the snow double basic typing lands from Kaldheim. I think Skyshroud Claim is definitely all upside because now it's way easier to fix. You don't. I hate to say it, but Explosive Veggies seems to have lost this one against Skyshroud Claim. Right?
Right, yeah, I guess, yeah, but I mean,
would you ever want to play both?
Well,
nowadays, no.
It's
I also don't play green though, so don't listen to me.
I value basic lands over the duels, just because
it's because we play Blood Moon.
That too, but there's also a lot of non-basic land hate, and it's being basic ain't so bad,
All right, so I don't know. Okay, so should we? I guess that's actually a really interesting thing because it's in our play group, Blood Moon is real. Back to Basics is real. Archon of Emeria is real. These are things that just really slow you down, and and it's kind of funny because it's I always tell people make them fear the Blood Moon, and then Jan surprisingly it's screw this. I'm gonna play more Basics now.
Yes.
Oh my god. I have never left my mentality, so when you guys were adapting to the meta, I was I don't understand. Why are things different?
You need to be Blood Moon for.
Oh my goodness!
I think a lot of basics.
No. See, it's we have to punish the rich people who can afford all these fancy lands and be get down to our level.
Well, now, bring down the system.
Yes, overthrow the hierarchy.
Anyway, so Skyshroud Claim first evolves into Explosive Vegetation. What's next? Is it?
I actually don't remember. What is it? Vastwood Surge, I think.
I think it's Circuitous Route.
Oh, you're right. It is Circuitous Route because Circuitous Route came out in a Ravnica set. It was Gatewatch?
Guilds of Ravnica.
No. Is it Guilds of? No. I think it's actually what's the Dominaria one?
What? Oh, wait. Oh, is a migration path?
No, Migration Pass from Ikoria, right? So it was the Vastwood Surge. Is from
That's...
Dominaria. Because
Oh, no, it's Zendikar
because
Rising. Zendikar Rising.
oh, is it Zendikar Rising? Ooh, this is
Yeah.
so hard because
But
now here I wonder.
that one is definitely next though. Yeah.
It's one of these two, but
So Vastwood Surge. Now they're adding kicker onto the onto explosive vegetation, giving it a little bit of variance.
you know what's actually funny is that like it kind of plays into itself because if you Vastwood Surge
Into
and
Vastwood
then
Surge.
Surge, it's like I got enough mana to kick now, so it's like it's kind of actually kind of nice, and they have incentive to actually like play this in like standard for its time or like some sort of really janky, you know,
I guess limited
kitchen table
too.
deck.
Limited.
Hmm.
I mean, putting 2+1/+1 counters on each creature is, I think that's pretty strong. Even though it is 8 mana to do, but I mean, late game, and you need the extra power. Why not?
Hmm. Yeah.
It rewards you for ramping though. Like if you draw this, like if you're playing a ramp deck, you're gonna have the lands to kick it again to put it onto 1/1 counters.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense because I'm here thinking that like it actually like this type of like upgrade is very nice because it kind of plays into like your strategy anyways. So, but that's the thing though is like unfortunately though I don't know if it's quite good enough. It plays into the strategy before man to get 2+1/+1 counters. Yes, it's strictly better than Explosive Veggies because it gives you the option, but in today's meta, I don't know if it's quite good enough.
No, I don't think
That
it
said
is.
each creature. I said
You know,
each creature.
It does
is
say
each creature? Yeah. So, you know what I really want to do is like
No.
I kind of want to playtest this in like Raga Draga because it's a mana dork heavy deck, right?
Bro, making your mana dorks like even bigger.
Yeah, to actually beat down. Like I think that's actually like so. That's the thing is like maybe I'm finding like really niche applications for these like side grades, but I think this one's actually not bad because also if you think about it, even in a landfall strategy type of deck, a lot of landfall decks make a lot of tokens. So I feel like this one's not as bad as it seems. This one actually seems quite playable, especially if you're on a budget.
I love that Victor slowly got convinced.
I see. You have to think about it, right? Where it's like, oh man, I kind of want to because it sounds really good on paper, but the problem is that like our meta is so fast that it's like I might not even have enough time. But at the same time, though, I feel like I kind of want to test it out because this is usually how all our games goes to the audience here, is that like one person is going to be so fast, guns blazing, and he's going to be arch enemy, and the other three players are going to try to knock him down the peg. Just like get rid of a mana dork, get rid of like some problematic like enchantment, either that Rhystic Study or the Smothering Tithe. But sometimes two players is enough to handle that. Like the one of the players will have an answer. Not always, but we play enough removal and interaction that like it's possible. So you could be that fourth player where it's like, I'm sorry guys, I don't have anything. I'm just gonna just play this, and then you seem unassuming because you're just ramping.
You always gotta poke that person though. Every now and then, you gotta keep them a check.
You do. Like you can't totally ignore the person who's just ramping because like you have to take in consideration how many cards they have in hand and what kind of commander they're playing and stuff like that. But I feel like there's so many good strong cards that you can kind of like be lenient about yourself and be a little greedier. Of course, though, this is a metagame thing because if people see that you're being greedy, other players can be greedy too and not establish any kind of lock piece or leave up mana for removal, or like it's kind of a game of chicken, right? Where everyone's developing their board, but I guess it depends on whoever's hand is the best, and they might run away with the game.
Bro, I let other people like solve my problems, even if I have the answer to it.
Oh my god.
No, remember that one time where it's like, oh, okay. Here's a funny story. Mitchell was like, he had the chance to kill. Was it Teferi? Jan was playing his like. Okay, context. So our friend Jan's playing his Jeskai Super Friends deck, And Teferi was left at one loyalty, and he's like, "It's okay. Someone else will do the job." And Jan had so much mana, and he then played what was that 1/3 mana creature? The one that proliferates whenever you cast a non-creature spell?
I remember.
Oh.
Well, you know what I remember from that?
Yeah, it was just, and then we're
went-
just like he ended up like chaining off so many spells that he was able to proliferate Teferi back to ult range, and we're just like, no.
I remember just sitting there thinking, I don't have answers to this. And then it passed to our next person, and he didn't have answers either.
No,
And I could have solved it. Yeah.
I thought it was so funny because it was like the perfect meme of like Thanos and Thor, where it was like, you should have gone for the head. And then from that point on, I think we all learned where it's like we had to have the Thanos mentality, where it's like, I guess I'll just do it myself then.
Oh wait, yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
But occasionally, no. It's like, I think what's funny is that every once in a while we do get greedy, and we like to play that game of chicken of like, I don't have the answer. Maybe the next player has the answer.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah. Vastwood Surge. I like the card. I definitely would recommend people to test it out and tell us in the comments that do you play with Vastwood Surge? Is it worth playing? I might play test it and see how it goes.
All right.
So the next one would be.
You know what? It was Circuitous Route first.
Circuitous Route was I missed it because I was distracted by something. But yeah, Circuitous Route did come up before Vastwood Surge.
So
wow,
okay.
I'm just thinking that's crazy though. We didn't have a variation for about 15 years.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's why when Circuitous Route came out, it was a pretty big deal. Like,
well, I thought it was only a big deal because people were memeing about playing gate decks, and they were having trouble finding ways to get all the gates out. But having Circuitous Route actually make the Maze's end deck more viable is actually pretty sweet.
Also, for like budget players, it was really good because it gave us mana fixing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You did the gates.
Yeah. You don't have to own, but that's kind of sad though, because fast forward to today's time, it's like Circuitous Route. Like if you're not playing gates, it's like it's not really worth mana fixing because you can just play the dual lands.
That's Now you're telling me this. Like the 5 years between then and now, it's been pretty crazy.
Well, actually, hang on. I just remembered. They did make more gates card in the set no one talks about, Baldur's Gate.
They did.
I've seen people play Nine Fingers.
And okay, sweet. Because I feel like they made a lot more gates, and those gates I feel like it could be interesting because you can grab Circuitous Route because some of them are utility lands technically. So Circuitous Route still has a home. It's not completely power crept out, but Circuitous Route has definitely power crept Explosive Veggies though, because it's all upside.
All these cards on our list have, like, none of them haven't, but just how. I think this one's like a huge step up from our the card they came out later, but we talked about earlier, Vastwood Surge.
Oh yeah,
and they're honestly different functions between those two.
So here's the thing though, is like between Circuitous Route and Vastwood Surge, it's like, yes, it has power crept Explosive Vegetation because it gets you two lands essentially, but like it has upside, whereas Circuitous Route can grab you gates, which fix, but they also grab you gates that are utility lands. Versus Vastwood Surge. Vastwood Surge is a mana sink / like, finisher effect. It's like, which one do you think is actually, like, I know that like they're kind of different, but at the same time it's like, which one do you think is better? Which one would you rather play?
It's very circumstantial now because I have money, but had I had less money, it was very clearly would have been Circuitous Route.
I guess that's true, but at the same time, it's like the inner Timmy in me wants to just smash people with Vastwood Surge.
but you're also like, that's an entirely different build of reasons why. Because it's like, if I play a bunch of little guys too, I'd want to grab Vastwood Surge. But because I don't, and I might be on a budget where I run a lot of guild gates and like general gates, and it's like, okay, maybe I want this to grab more gates.
I mean, but then the problem with gates is that they come into battlefield tapped, and that's why I don't like that. And I
This
actually
story brings them into play tapped. What are you going on about?
no, I know they come into play tapped, but naturally I like to play my lands untapped, and then if I ramp, I don't mind them becoming tapped. So it's like I would rather play Vastwood Surge in that circumstance if I don't care about the mana fixing, because I'm gonna assume a budget deck is 2 colors.
I still play with tap lands.
Well, that's the thing though, is that like it's I guess maybe this argument is too circumstantial, like what Chris said, where it's like gates versus an aggro deck or a +1/+1 counter deck, right? It's like I guess it's like they're upgrades to explosive vegetations, but they have their own niche because gates is a strategy, and +1/+1 counters is a strategy or a theme that aids a certain specific type of strategy.
Actually,
So
yeah, to put it in perspective, if I was playing a more expensive deck, but I had to include a variant of Explosive Vegetation, Vastwood Surge. No questions asked, because it has that extra kicker.
Okay.
But when it get like constraints happen where you have to think about your space and whatnot, if I am playing a budget deck where I am using more gates, then Circuitous Route is better because grabbing those gates matter a lot more.
Hang on. What about which one? Wait, so which one's your winner? You said that Vastwood Surge would be the winner.
Because I'm at the point now. I've been playing long enough where I don't play guild gates anymore.
That makes sense. All right, Vastwood Surge
It's a
versus
circumstantial thing, though.
Skyshroud Claim.
Wait, what?
It's like a little tournament thing where it's like, all right, we're going up the bracket now, guys.
All right, Vastwood Surge versus Skyshroud Claim. Go.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm playing green. What if I steal this from someone? Isn't Skyshroud Claim just worse now?
No, because they come into play untapped.
No. But here's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, what if you're playing like a Grixis Death deck where you or a Gonti deck?
Yeah,
you can't. It doesn't even work because you don't got force. You don't have any
like
force cards.
And stuff, and someone walked up and took your like Skyshroud Claim, and they used it on you.
Didn't that happen? That one, like, I remember this happened. Like,
no, yeah, I remember too. I think was it
Jan who hit, like bricked because like he saw Skyshroud Claim or something like that, and then he's like, wait a second, I'm Grixis, I don't have any force.
Yeah, he like someone tried to ramp and they couldn't because like it was specifically forest cards.
Oh! He tried to Narcissus Reversal. That's what it was.
Oh,
yes, that's what it was. It's like, and then it's like, and I was like, bro, it's like, yes, if you want to, it's like a kind of a bad remand. You don't even get to draw. You get to tempo someone out, but you don't get the land. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because you're Grixis. You don't have forest cards. Like,
get wrecked.
These hilarious and super niche, these super duper niche
that
situations.
That is not a niche thing, though. There is a lot of Grixis theft.
Yeah, Grixis theft is becoming more popular, but I just think it's so funny because it's like, who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
So
actually, in this situation, Skyshroud Claim benefits you. It got stolen from because now they can't cast it.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I guess it's true. Resource now. All right, so here's the thing now. Mitchell, you have to tell me, Vastwood Surge versus Circuitous Route, and then the winner of that versus Skyshroud Claim.
Okay. I made up my mind about it. Oh, let me just grab that. Okay. I say Vastwood Surge. I kind of agree with Chris in that sense of like, if budget wasn't an issue, Vastwood Surge. But it also depends because with Circuitous Route, I guess now there's more gates that you could grab. I think 3 if you're playing 2-color that can help mana fix you. There's I guess you could play Circuitous Route, but if I'm playing two,
There's way more gates than a
No,
two-color deck can play way more than 3 gates.
no, because there's the green. You get the green one, or so if you're
The
playing green,
two-color one that belongs to you,
yeah, the 2-color one.
Manor Gate, the one other gate in the other color, and then you have Boulder's Gate. You have
No, okay.
Gate.
I'm looking strictly because Boulder's Gate, I don't believe generates colored mana.
Yes, it does.
Okay, but is it?
Oh wait,
Do you have to filter it? I think the other one's filter mana.
It's no Boulder's Gate.
Oh no, and then there's the one that you pay one to tap. You pay one, or else you like return it back to your hand. There's that one, but I'd rather not play that one.
No. But Baldur's Gate is the rare one, the one that's you pay 2 to tap it, and you make X mana of one color, where X is the number of gates you control. So you actually want to control as many gates as possible.
You misspelled Boulder. Type in gate. Just type in gate.
Go down. Land.
Advanced search.
We have to use the advanced search. Type.
I'm trying to find land. Oh wait, land. Wait, text? No.
No, you idiot.
No, type
gate.
No,
gate.
And then type in gate in
Is there gate?
Also it's a
the
subtype.
type is gate.
Yeah, it's a subtype.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm angry now. Stop.
That one, Baldur's Gate.
Like I said, it filters. Or I guess you do. I see. It's like
Nykthos for lands. It's
Nykthos
for gates. There's Basilisk Gate.
Okay, but what's the budget? I'm like looking at this. What's the price?
It's cheap. They're not that bad. They're not that bad. It's like $1.
I don't know if I want to allocate.
I believe they're a potential to grow, because gates become more and more popular, especially when they release new cards like this. Then it's like, oh, maybe we should release more gates to support the gate deck. Like there's Grand Gate.
There's Grand Gate?
Heat Gate. Is Heat Gate the treasure one? Yeah, Heat Gate's the
I
treasure
can tell.
one.
You know what's really funny?
Basilisk Gate is it pumps.
Okay.
So a 2-color deck can have 5 good ones, and then you get Thrawn Portal, which is kind of garbage.
But hey, it's there. It helps your gate count.
Yeah, and then like Gateway Plaza counts.
Okay.
You know what's really funny is that gate is a type that's not necessarily bound to a specific plane or setting. So you never know. We could get more gates in Lord of the Rings, and
Azorius Gate is definitely bound to a plane.
I'm trying to remember if Lord of the Rings had important gates. Does chat know if Lord of the Rings had important gates?
I don't know. I feel like you could probably make one up where it's like specific towns or cities, but
I'd rather not have them put guild
gates of Gondor.
I would
the gates of Gondor or the gates to Mordor.
I would not want them to put gates in a modern design set. Please don't put gates in a modern design set unless you make those gates equivalent to a Shockland. You cannot, please. I swear.
Yeah, again. You need. What do you mean? They release commons and uncommons all the time in the modern. You just don't care about them.
Exactly. I don't care about them. Because I'm not even gonna get into that.
I'm sorry that you don't play draft like I do.
No, but it's not just draft. It's just imagine paying $1,000 for a freaking box, because that's like the price that it shot up to, and like one of those cards that you're gonna pull is a gate. That's like Azorius Guild Gate.
I buy collector boxes and get foil commons. I don't understand this argument.
Commons are always going to exist. But here's the thing, though, is that
no, they don't, because Aftermath proved you wrong.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay,
we're off the tracks. Let's get back to Vastwood Surge versus Circuitous Route.
To
go back through the gates.
We gotta go back to the gate. We went to the gate of tangents. but okay, so I think Circuitous Route has potential, because if they do decide to put more gates, it could be a real deck or real strategy, and if they actually print out good utility gates, it's totally fine. But as of right now, I think Vastwood Surge feels pretty fun to play, and
you know what? Now that we had that little expedition, that little invasion into not topic, I'm starting to think Circuitous Route is better in the long run because Baldur's Gate, like Basilisk Gate and Keep Gate are pretty okay utility cards.
I would like Circuitous Route if there were maybe 2 more cards that could search for. Like if there was a rampant growth, but
There are
it searches
20
for
something
great.
cards you can search for. I'm like, there are 20 cards you can search for.
No, I want like imagine if there was a rampant growth but searches for a gate. Like
Oh, I
like
see. Okay.
if there was that plus Circuitous Route plus the one that gives initiative, I would consider it. But right now there's only 2. I'm not entirely confident with it yet.
I feel like you're too bougie for this topic.
No.
Well, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it could get there because it's like, it's possible. The realm of possibility is not. It's like it seems pretty reasonable. It's just that you just need to have a set that actually demands it, right?
Yeah.
But because
It'll probably be a while too.
But hey, so for now, it seems. But are you in the same boat though, Mitchell? Where it's like Vastwood Surge beats out Circuitous Route until more gates are there, and at the king of the crop is still Skyshroud Claim.
Yeah, I would second that. Yeah.
You guys didn't laugh at my joke. I said king of the crop because it's supposed to be vegetation.
I thought it was like crop rotation.
I was like king of the crop. Like anyway,
by the end of this podcast, we're all going to be farmers,
bro.
Yeah, we're gonna cultivate.
Bro, but we ain't talking about cultivate.
We're gonna cultivate some trees.
Oh my goodness!
Right. I'm gonna migrate to our next card.
Wait, but I do want to say one thing though. I think Circuitous Route has the long game.
Yes, I agree. I'm not saying you've repeated yourself, but yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay,
there. Is that what you wanted me to say?
I did. I want to like make sure like that I brought that point home. I would keep an eye on Circuitous Route.
No, it's already like budget wise, like I think this is too pricey for a card to be put into a budget deck unless you're focusing
more than some of the newer rares.
No, yeah, exactly right. Like like usually the ramp cards are like about $1, and it's like green. I mean, green isn't as much as we want to talk about green being budget. Like if you're playing Circuitous Route and then dates, like I don't even know, like Circuitous Route is $1. That's a lot out of the budget.
It's 70 cents, but yes.
No, oh yeah, I'm accounting. It's 70 cents, but.
Dude, I'm like right now doing a giveaway on Twitter, and I like have to package up these things that I want to make sure they're adequately priced. It is so rough right now with like some of these rares who like don't even break 15 cents.
That's Modern Magic.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, Circuitous Route being 70 cents with potential upside and like long-term outlook. Something to look at.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for you, Mitchell, because I was gonna say like that migration segue is so good, and I appreciate your puns and dad jokes.
Yeah, I tried, but Chris wanted to really talk about Circuitous Route because he loves dates.
I'm obsessed with things, and I need to say them.
Okay.
I'm glad that we can migrate over to here.
Yes.
Salvaged it.
Yes. Mitchell has shown us the path, and we're now on the migration path. So, all right. So migration path, same thing as Explosive Veggies, but now it gives us the option to cycle. How much do you guys value cycling?
Yes.
I mean, yes, but I mean, compared to our other discussions, what could we talk about migration path other than you could cycle it?
Well, cycling is one of those things where it's like, okay, so for me, it's like cycling is kind of nonchalant, where it's like, oh yeah, it has cycling, but there are some times where you're in that late game, you top deck migration path, and you really need an answer to help get yourself out of the sticky situation. And cycling gives you one more chance to dig for one more card. And in those cases, it's very clutch, right? Or not. Clutch is more like you actually draw the card that you needed. but it gives you that option where like, hey, I really need this. Or there are times where, let's say you hold up a counter spell in hand, but nothing was worth countering. And then you'd be like, well, instead I'll use my 2 mana to cycle as a way to draw the card. So you're kind of like you didn't tempo yourself out in a sense. You still used your mana and drew a card and got some more like gas going, assuming that you didn't need the ramp. So it's just one of those things where it's like cycling is like very inconspicuous. So it's like it could be really good in certain situations, but at the same time though, I really like Migration Path. Don't get me wrong, but I am like, after all our arguments and everything, I'm still kind of sold that Vastwood Surges might be better.
But it's better than Migration Path.
Oh wait, hang on. You know what actually be really good? Can you actually pull up that like, this is, you know what? This is maybe for next time. It was like the tier list like maker.
Oh, I didn't have that ready. Yeah, I mean,
it's all good. To be honest though, it's no big deal. But this is like I just love this discussion. But are we all in the same boat about Migration Path though? Is that like Vastwood Surge is better, or is Migration Path better?
No, I think this is better than Vastwood Surge.
What?
I think this would be better in technical terms.
I like cycling, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. Have either of you played a limited set with cycling?
Yeah, I remember Amonkhet. That was actually pretty nice.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about Amonkhet was I got away with playing like 13, 14 lands, 15 lands.
Yeah, because
cycling. You are a madman.
No,
that was the meta.
Yeah, because you did cycle it to draw into a land.
Yeah, that's what you did. That's what you did.
And then you could use the cards that you cycled for like later use, because like most of them had like Aftermath or like, right or no?
No, but
not
they normally
those
had
ones.
like Embalm.
Embalm, there we go. Yeah.
Or they also had like discard synergies, because there's some cards that say like, oh, if you were to discard a card, something happens.
There wasn't enough that I saw. There's only like 2 or 3, I think, but they are enough.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Is like I do remember like Archfiend and Ifnir, like, oh, that was just the worst. Like you're just like, I am so screwed. Or what's that like Drake Haven? Is that the one where like whenever you cycle you may pay 2 and then you make a 2/2 Drake? Yeah, that one was annoying too. So I guess like cycling does have some sweet synergies and you could build around, similar to Vastwood Surge.
Yeah, but I think at minimum, here's how you look at this card at minimum. You either see it as a 2-mana cantrip in any color, or you can use it as a fetch 2 lands and put it in the battlefield. Like, at those 2 modes, with one never being bad, I think that's great.
I guess that's true. Okay.
I agree. Like,
colorless cycling is that good.
Well, damn. Now I kind of want to.
But I would argue, like, I don't know. I feel like in a commander sense, like looking at like, all right, limited sense, great, probably definitely better than. I don't know. I guess it's different uses in like limited sense, but like in commander, I don't know if it's really drawing that one extra card for 2 mana. Like I feel like because we were talking about this with Night's Whisper, like 2 mana gets you to draw 2 cards instead of 1. This is like 2 mana for 1. It's like it's not as like enticing.
But it's the flexibility, I think, and also it's instant speed. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like I know that like
it's also not counterable. Other than if you counter, can't you count? It has to be like
stifled.
Yeah, it has to be stifled, because you can't counter this like the cycling ability.
No, absolutely. So that's what I mean. It's like I like cycling. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Maybe it's just I love aggro and playing +1/+1 counters, and it's like I kind of sold myself on that argument with like Vastwood Surge. But I guess Migration Path is kind of nice though, because there will be times where it's like, it's turn 9 and you're like, I don't need any more ramp. Let me dig for an answer or like a finisher of some kind.
Guys, I know to change your minds. You can play this card at 2 and 4 mana The other one you can play at 4 and 8 mana. There.
All right, you got me.
Yeah. Oh, and the 2 mana instant speed.
You got me. All right, you're right.
So Migration Path is beats out Vastwood, but does it beat out Skyshroud Claim? No.
Ooh.
Oh,
Getting 2 untapped forests versus, the option to cycle.
I would
I'm getting it. There we go. Oh,
try. Does it beat Skyshroud Claim?
Yeah, does it?
The cycling's a really good one.
I personally, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like I think it's like because we're not budget players anymore. Skyshroud Claim is just so good, grabbing your shocks and stuff like that.
yeah.
But Migration Path, I could definitely see it being really good for budget decks.
Here's the way I'm looking at it. If I run both cards, I would keep a hand with 2 lands and a Migration Path over 2 lands and a Skyshroud Claim.
I would just mulligan at that point.
You're not going to be greedy because
No.
technically you have because you draw your first turn, you could draw that 3rd land.
No,
You draw your second turn, you could draw that 3rd land. So, and then on top of that, you draw on turn 3, and if you don't get that land in 3 turns, you can cycle.
if I had a land, if I had 2 lands and a rock, I would and Migration Path I'd keep. But if I only have 2 lands, no other source of ramp, and just Migration Path, no, I'm not that balls deep.
Are you sure? Because you've been playing the last few games. I remember you were very, very greedy.
No, well, I'm only greedy because my criteria is 2 lands and a rock, and usually my rocks are 2 mana. If I or 2 lands and something that draws, but definitely something that draws more than 1 card. I mean, like if I'm able to get that 3rd land, so I could play Wheel of Fortune, like oh yes, but I don't know if I don't know if I'd risk it.
Okay.
I think just a cycling on Skyshroud Claim lets me lean in that direction.
Do you mean Migration Path?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Migration Path, as much as the lands come untapped for Skyshroud Claim, I think Migration Path might be just better.
It doesn't claim me for this one.
Mm.
But, and you know what's interesting is that like, as we're progressing, we do see the power creep in being brought into each of these cards. Am I wrong? I mean, I know that Circuitous Route is pretty strong over Vastwood Surge, but comparing the abilities of Anthem, buffing all your creatures, and then this one it's yeah, you just get 2. This one has the option.
More options.
Yeah. Well, what you mean, Circuitous Route has more options, or Vastwood Surge?
Yeah, Circuitous Route has more options to grab for targets.
True.
And then Vastwood Surge adds an endpoint.
Yes. In Migration Path, it's like the cycling. It's like the adding that. It's like Vastwood Surge in that you have the option to buff your stuff, but instead the option is to draw a card.
Yeah.
All right. Should we make our way off the beaten path?
Sure.
to path of the Animist? Well, I don't have the newest version of this card.
It came out the exact same day.
All right, the same day as Invasion. All right,
exact same day as Invasion of Zendikar.
Yeah, but Path of the Animist though, it's all right. If we're talking about strictly the least side greedy of explosive vegetation effects, I think this is the one because okay, don't get me wrong, there are some plane chase enthusiasts, and this could make a big difference if you are playing plane chase. But I feel like 90% of the time, most people are just playing. Yeah, people are only playing regular commander. So this is just basically a functional reprint. I feel like Will the Planeswalker is kind of cool, kind of cute, but most of the time you're not going to see it in actions, unfortunately.
Well, no. I don't know, because these are the newer commander decks that did come with plane chase cards. And so in time, people will have them.
I guess
If
that's
people wanted
true.
them.
If they, I guess like they did announce the whole Doctor Who thing, and Doctor Who is also like we'll have planes chasing it too because that show's all about like interdimensional traveling. So,
Oh,
uh,
then actually, this card might have
so
the.
it has the potential similar to Circuitous Route, where it's like if plane chase becomes more popularized and people have more access to it, then yeah. But I want to say at the moment, most people just like to play a straightforward game of Magic or Commander, anyways.
Yeah.
So
I would not say at the moment for eternity. I think
for
Circuitous Route will be a better quote unquote investment in the long run. Because Path of the Animist requires 4 people to agree to play Plane Chase.
yeah, that's true too.
Circuitous Route requires 1 person to go, I'm gonna play Gates.
Yep.
So we all agree that unfortunately, Path of the Animist is probably the weakest out of all of these.
All these, yeah. Well, aside from like the baseline,
besides the OG Explosive Vegetation, because this still has the upside, right? Like
True. Yeah.
there's the option that like it's
as
just
a
not.
joke, I want to compare the price between the two.
Oh, this one's definitely cheaper. Explosive Vegetation's like more
No
now.
way!
Yeah.
What?
Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, actually, those are all the prices. Yeah. Path of Animist. Yep.
This makes no sense.
Nope, it
Well,
doesn't.
here's the thing though. Path of the Animus just came out. It's fresh in people's minds, and people don't care about it.
Yo, if you
Whereas
want to get your budget rare, get Path of the Animist.
It's so what? This makes. I'm like thinking, this should be cheaper.
It's supposed to. No, I think it's because people. It's the mindset of like back to the day when it's like, what do you put in your deck? It's Explosive Vegetation. It's just more known. This one's like, who knows this card? Who even?
It was that and just Planes Chase, Planes Walk. No, we don't do that here.
Yeah,
That's satanic.
we don't do that here.
But to bring it all back now, like the reason why we talked about this is Invasion of Zendikar. After all of these iterations, the more power crept version.
Ooh, is it the most?
Yeah, is it?
Yes, I want to say yes.
You want to say yes? All right, I'm already going to grab out Circuitous Route just because I know that we're going to talk about that.
All right, we're about to build this tier list. We're about that tier list.
Okay, because I'm not gonna lie. It's like Invasion of Zendikar. I need to play it, but I haven't drawn it in my rack. And the same with Vastwood Surge, where it's like, oh
your
man,
Ragavan deck. You kind of cut out there, but your Ragavan deck.
no, it's
Raga
Draga.
Ragadraga. Sorry, Ragadraga.
I know Ragavan scars you and you're scared of monkeys in Detroit, but
oh. Yes. All right.
But Raga.
All right, so the final showdown: Invasion of Zendikar versus Circuitous Route. Just I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think Invasion of Zendikar kind of beats out.
Wait, did we price memory out? Did we memory out Migration Path already?
I mean, I'm not even gonna compare. I'm not even. I mean, do you want to compare them two as well?
I think Migration Path's the best one.
Oh, spoiler alert! I wasn't ready for that. I'm trying to find it.
Well,
you weren't?
Oh, hold on. There we go. No, I was not thinking that.
I think now that I re-looked at all of these, I think Migration Path is the best one.
Migration Path is the best one. Damn, you must really value cycling.
I do.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
I value the body more than I value the body more than the cycling.
See, the cycling is really good, but like, I don't know if I'm biased because like I value the body too, where it's like, three damage is not that hard to do.
Here's how we know. Here's how we know. Have either of you guys played with battles yet?
Yes,
I have not. I have only. I just recently slotted some in, but I haven't yet to draw them.
Wait, are we talking about in Commander or are we talking about in?
Oh, I'm
in
talking about in
limited
Commander.
At all.
I'm talking about in
I
Commander.
have, yes.
Okay. Have you flipped battles in limited yet?
Yes.
Okay. Have you tried flipping them in constructed?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
You know what? My aspiring spike has made several battle decks really good and pop off and kick lots of butt in modern. Unfortunately, Awakening the Sky Claim isn't one of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like that shouldn't be an issue though, because if someone is able to flip battles that has the invasion of Alara one that has 7 defense counters on it, in modern, I don't think being able to flip deal 3 damage for invasion of Zendikar and commander should be too difficult,
No.
or even standard.
Okay. Here is my thing with it though, and what I've seen. You never care to flip it until you have to.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's not bad, but I'm just saying that the upside though, I think having that body
It
is
has
actually
it's a 4/4 with vigilance and I mean, not saying that the
and
haste
haste.
matters. I mean, I guess it does matter, but I think the vigilance is it's a blocker that a lot of things can't get it can't get over unless you're playing a stompy thing yourself.
But I'm imagining people will not put in the effort to flip. I don't. Most decks I played against, they put very minimal effort into trying to flip it because they don't need to at that point.
I guess that's true. It's but that's more of a question of grading invasions, right? Invasions, you grade invasions based on its front side first, and the back side is the quote unquote upside.
Less that, and I think it's in the shell. What is it doing, and what is its purpose? The only purpose of Invasion of Zendikar is to flip. Is to not flip. Is to grab the 2 lands.
Yes.
Yeah, it's to grab the 2 lands, but for me though, it's you have to consider the fact that it's also a permanent, and
Yeah,
then you can flicker it, you can do stuff, and it's one of those things where it's these are this type of explosive vegetation. The explosive vegetation has never gotten this type of treatment before, and that's I think that's a whole side upside that beats out cycling.
Yeah, I can agree to that one. But I think it hasn't been explored yet. Or not enough of it has been explored yet.
Agreed.
Because Flicker Wisp, if you guys watched our GobaCon short, which I need a link below, that one's so good. But Flicker Wisp with Invasion of Zendikar?
Get in there!
Dude, no, dude, you know what's also perfect? It's got 3 toughness, which is perfect for Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, it does that, and it's okay, you're gonna play it, Flicker Wisp, grab more, that's perfect.
Victor,
you can
do
play,
do a variation of this with Invasion of the
where it's 3 power, it gets in there. oh, flip it over. Now you have 7 power.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's I don't think it's too difficult to flip. And the thing is that you don't even need to flip it right away. It's just being a permanent actually surprisingly gives you access to being able to flicker it, you get repeated ETBs.
Oh,
and also
you can actually fetch it back with Guardian Scale Lord.
Oh. Can you really? Oh, Guardian Scale Lord is based on mana value.
Mana value of the card based on its attack power.
Yeah. So then technically, yeah, Guardian Scale Lord can get it back too. And then what also you could do with it too is also I know this sounds really funny and insignificant, but it's it's a permanent. It counts as towards the the ascension, whatever. What's that one Ixalan thing?
Yes, Ascend.
Oh.
Ascend, yeah. It counts. It counts toward ascend.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, and then it also counts with your devotion.
Yep.
Yeah. It stays on the battlefield. Counts towards devotion. So I personally think that Invasion Zendikar is probably the best version.
You know what? Actually, you got me thinking. So it might. There's been. Have you guys noticed a trend in green?
What kind of trend are we talking about here?
What their card advantage looks like?
But usually the card advantage.
Just tell me out. I'm pretty sure I have recognized it, but
it's on Ren and Realmbreaker and a Seed of Hope. It's to bring back and actually the early form of Nissa Vital Force.
Or another one. Oh, technically that's the thing though. Is that like they don't give them outright regrowth effects where they can be any card, but they have been giving a lot of like return target permanent, right?
Yeah.
And then you can also see this in Invasion of Chandelar because it specifically grabs back for 5 mana, grab back 3 permanent cards from your graveyard. So I can see that. So yeah, I think it being a permanent type actually gives it upside.
Okay.
So for sure, I think the final saying is that like Invasion Zendikar is by far the strongest explosive vegetation effect we have, right?
I would think so. Just how much more advantage that it gives, other than the cycling. Like the cycling is strong, and sure, Digging Gates is strong, but I mean, I feel like the amount of like versatility that Invasion of Zendikar provides, it's a permanent, it's a permanent type. It has a devotion tied to it. You can flicker it because it's a permanent as well. It becomes a creature if you decide to finish it off. I mean, I feel like
it counts towards your ascension.
It counts towards your ascension. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's more.
All right,
I'm gonna be stubborn on this one. I'm like, I still think Migration Path is better.
Okay,
there is a lot of like good cases you guys made for it, but at the end of the day, I think once there's more interactions with battles, then I'm gonna have to really start re-looking at this card.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So much like Circuitous Route, and I think Circuitous Route and Invasion of Zendikar have a lot of potential.
All right, so what's rank number 2 then for you guys? Because for me, I would probably pick Migration as number 2.
Well, I mean, I feel like all right. I think the number, like, it's either Migration Path or Circuitous Route as like the number 2. Like,
Skyshroud Claim,
other than Chris's, but
or Skyshroud Claim.
No, I don't know if we should go like down all of the list. I mean,
no, we're not gonna. No, we don't need to. I don't think we necessarily need to. I'm just messing with you guys. But honestly, though, it's like overall though, it's like I just want to tie this back is that the Explosive Vegetation for sure has been power crept, right? Because it's like you have no reason to play Explosive Vegetation when you have this many functional reprint.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But the final conclusion though is that if you had to recommend an Explosive Vegetation like effect to the audience out there, like which ones would you say is the best one? Which I think we all agree that it's Invasion.
Other than Chris, I think he still thinks it's Migration Path. I mean,
I think the cycling Migration Path is better in more situations. It's something I learned from like designing and playing Cube. Is just the more utility that card has, like the more times it's playable, generally it's better.
True.
Yeah, because you always want utility because it's like there is variance. You always draw it.
So like my baseline, just like what you guys are saying, I looked at it and went, okay, so my baseline is getting 2 lands for 4 mana. What lets me play it the most, aside from that? And it's being cycling.
You know what's interesting is that yeah, I would kind of agree because it's like if you're a newer player, sometimes cycling just feels so good, even though you didn't do anything but just discard and draw a card. That's why it's like a lot of my budget decks has like Tranquil Thickets and stuff like that.
Take that, Tiggies.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say like to our viewers out there, like it seems like if you were to play an Explosive Vegetation like effect, then it's either between Migration Path for the flexibility or Invasion if you care about it being a permanent on the battlefield.
Yeah, like I think those 3 are the ones you should keep your eyes out for.
Circuitous Route, Migration Path, and Invasion of Zendikar.
Yeah. Migration of Zendikar is the most boring of those 3, though.
Invasion?
I think no Migration Path. I think it's the most boring because there's no potential. There's no potential at all. You're like, this is what the card does. Doesn't matter what Wizards does, add or take away cards. This is just what the card does.
Okay.
Whereas with the Invasion, you guys already touched on it. Once they start adding even more permanent card interaction types, like this card's gonna do really well. And then same thing with Circuitous Route. If they add more gates, just more interaction with gates, that card's gonna do really well.
Which is good on like the game design aspect of it. I feel like there's more potential, like by having like cards like this where it's just like gate like specific cards like permanent type or I guess they're both permanent types, but like flexible, like how they interact with those types. Yeah, I think long term these cards are, I agree with you. Well, you should look out more.
It'll be more interesting to play.
Mm-hmm.
But for myself, I would play any Explosive Vegetation but I don't like playing green. But if I had to go back to playing green, any Explosive Vegetation will work for me.
I'm so surprised that you don't like playing green.
I
You don't want to become a farmer like us, you know, growing our crops and.
No, I don't. I don't want to rotate through crops like you guys.
Oh man, someone's not a lands player.
No, he clearly,
I just
clearly
want
not.
Yeah.
But I think that was good that was good discussion. I think we've gone through the history of Explosive Vegetation, and maybe there will be more to come.
You know what's actually the kind of nice thing too is the fact that like Explosive Vegetation is actually a really nice budget card, and all of its variants are super duper cheap. So, you know, because like you said earlier, right? It kind of sucks that like Nature's War and 3 visits are like what, $3, $4.
3 visits is $8.
Oh dear lord, it has gone up to 8 now. Yeah, so it's like it just kind of sucks. And I feel like people should probably look into like these Explosive Vegetation like effects for budget decks.
Definitely look into what was the one that we were talking about? The Path of the Animist, because that one's the cheapest right now.
Crazy to me. How is it cheaper than Invasion of Zendikar?
Like we said, Will of the Planeswalkers.
Both the same card.
Just accept it.
I actually think what's it called is better in the green decks, Invasion of Zendikar over this one. God.
Anyway,
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. All right, this is I'm Blueberry Lover, or I'm Mitchell. I always did the reverse for some reason at the close. I'm Mitchell.
Maybe you're Blueberry Lover and that your handle is Mitchell.
Yeah. Yes, I embrace it. No, I'm Mitchell, and my handle's Blueberry Lover, and you can find me on my YouTube channel, Blueberry Lover. That's where I make music, and then also Maho Shonen, where we are going to upload this content.
I'm glad you guys stayed through the Circuitous Route with us, and that we can migrate our path out of here. So,
and invade into your subscription feeds.
Oh yes. We're all becoming pun farmers now.
We're all becoming.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we gotta make these claims. You know. Oh man. All right. But Wake Up People, you can find me at wakeuppeople@rumble.com, and I have all my other socials down below. I'm currently working on my primer for Gruul Aggro and Cube. So, God willing, it doesn't get buried under everything, and you guys check it out next week.
Oh god.
On the week of the 29th of May.
Yep, and as for me, this is Victor, also known as Massive Banana. You can find me on Moxfield, and I'm also on Maho Shonen, and hope you guys enjoy our little discussion here about being farmers.
Oh, and the channel, our YouTube channel, is in the description below.
Nice.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's done and hammered away.
Don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you've made it this far.
On YouTube, and if
On
you're
YouTube.
on Rumble with me, it's follow and like, and leave a comment on what your favorite version of Explosive Vegetation is.
Oh, I'm gonna make a poll. For that. All right. Until next time.
Oh
Later,
yes,
folks.
signing out.